Okay, picture this. You're walking through a forest right after a huge wildfire. It's quiet. Everything is just covered in this blanket of black and gray ash. You'd think it's the end, right? But believe it or not, in this landscape that looks so devastated, something pretty incredible is about to happen. A secret world is just waking up.
If you look really closely at the charred soil and the burned wood, just a few weeks later, these strange, vibrant colors start to literally push right through the charcoal. We're talking bright orange cups, pale pink crusts, and these vivid patches of yellow. It's like they're painting the blackened ground with this almost alien beauty.
So what is this stuff? It's not plants. Nope, it's something way more mysterious, and it's perfectly adapted to this super extreme environment. These are nature's first responders, showing up on the scene when pretty much nothing else can survive. So let's find out exactly what they are.
What we're talking about here is a really special group of fungi. And get this, they don't just put up with fire, they are literally awakened by it. They thrive in the aftermath, and they play this absolutely crucial role in bringing the entire forest back to life.
Their scientific name is Pyrophiles fungi. It comes from the Greek words pyro for fire and philis for loving. And honestly, it's the perfect name because their whole life cycle is built around the chaos of a forest fire. While everything else is perishing, these fungi are just getting started.
And you wouldn't believe the variety. You might see these really distinctive little orange cups. That's a fungus called geopyxis. Or you might see the pale crusts of neurospora spreading all over charred bark. Others, like pyronema, create these bright patches right on the soil. They are the cleanup crew, and man, did they arrive in style.
But here's the part that's almost magical. Their whole show is incredibly brief. For just a few short weeks, they completely transform the burned landscape. And then, just as quickly as they showed up, they vanish. Their essential work is done, and they're just waiting for the next fire.
So, of course, this begs a pretty big question. If a wildfire is hot enough to incinerate massive trees, how on earth does a delicate little fungus survive that? Well, it turns out they've evolved some brilliant strategies to just endure the inferno. They basically have two main tricks up their sleeve. Some use what you could call the bunker strategy. They produce these incredibly tough, heat-resistant structures called sclerotia that act like tiny shelters, protecting the fungus until the fire is gone. Others go for the deep dive method, just living far enough down in the soil where the crazy heat of the blaze just can't reach them.
Okay, so they can survive the fire, but thriving afterward, that requires a whole different kind of superpower. The ability to eat charcoal. And how they got that ability? Well, that's where things get really fascinating. It's like a genetic detective story.
Scientists discovered that these fungi evolved this unique genetic toolkit with three main parts. First, you've got gene duplication, basically a simple copy-paste to make more of the enzymes they need to digest charcoal. Second is sexual reproduction, which lets them mix and match genes to create helpful new traits. But the third one? That's where things get wild. Horizontal gene transfer.
To help you wrap your head around that, microbial ecologist Sydney Glassman explains it this way. It would be as if you're transferring genes between other people in the room with you. Yeah, it's not from a parent to a child, it's happening between totally unrelated organisms. It is, for all intents and purposes, genetic theft.
And here's the crucial point. This wasn't just fungi swapping genes with other fungi. The evidence suggests that way back in their evolutionary history, an ancestor of these fungi actually got the charcoal-eating genes from a totally different kingdom of life, bacteria. That is incredibly rare. It's a huge game-changing leap in evolution.
So now we know how they survive and how they eat. Let's look at why they are just so important. Because this ability to eat charcoal isn't just some neat party trick. It's the key to rebuilding an entire world right from the ground up.
These fungi aren't just decomposers. They are true ecosystem engineers. The work they do completely reshapes the post-fire environment, which makes it possible for other life to come back. It's just this amazing example of how interconnected everything in a forest really is.
So how did they pull it off? Well, first, many of them form these thick webs. They're called mycelial mats that hold the loose, ashy soil together and prevent erosion. These mats also help water filter into the ground instead of just washing away. And as they digest the charcoal, they unlock trapped nutrients, making them available again. When the fungi eventually die, their bodies create a nutrient-rich layer, a necromass, that paves the way for the next wave of life. Some even form direct partnerships with the very first plant seedlings that come back.
But the story doesn't end in the forest.
Not even close. In fact, understanding the unique chemistry of these fungi could open up some incredible possibilities for helping us clean up some of our own man-made messes.
There's this concept called bioremediation. It's pretty simple. It's the idea of using living organisms, like microbes or fungi, to break down and neutralize environmental pollutants. Basically, using nature to heal nature.
And here is the mind-blowing connection. The complex compounds in charcoal that these fungi evolved to eat, they're called aromatic hydrocarbons. And it turns out this is the exact same class of chemical pollutants you find in stuff like crude oil.
So this leads to a pretty profound question, doesn't it? If these fungi have already mastered the art of breaking down these really tough compounds in a forest, could we potentially harness their power to help us clean up oil spills or other industrial pollution? The potential here is just enormous. It's amazing to think that what starts as this strange splash of color in a burned-out forest could actually hold the key to new technologies for healing our planet. By studying nature's most resilient first responders, we can learn from their ancient wisdom.
And it really leaves you wondering, right? In the absolute harshest environments on Earth, from volcanic vents to the frozen poles, what other incredible solutions are just waiting there to be discovered, hiding inside our planet's toughest survivors?